We've all had moments that break us down, searching for light when the world spins round. But in those cracks, the purpose is born, a new way to live when the old is torn. It's more than a story, it's the rise from the fall, a place where your purpose starts to call. With Dr. Stephenson, wisdom takes flight, turning your pain into hope, into light. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. From heartbreak to strength, the lessons unfold. It's about how we rise, not the stories we've told. Guests with their journeys, sharing their light. In every collision, there's power in sight. It's more than a talk, it's the wisdom we gain through every struggle, through every pain. With conversations that open the door to purpose, to power, to so much more. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. So come as you are, with your scars and fears. This is the place where the truth appears. Turn your trials into stepping stones. Find the strength to claim your throne. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. A collision with purpose, your journey starts here. In every conversation, we'll wipe away fear. Find your purpose, let your life ignite. With Dr. Stephenson, you'll find your light.
Wow, wow, wow. Welcome to the show. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to the A Collision with Purpose movement. You're watching life-changing conversations to inspire actions. Here we challenge you to reflect deeply and take bold steps towards transformation. I am your host, Dr. Laxley Stephenson. In each episode, we uncover the powerful life-defining moments that have shaped the lives of our guests, ordinary people who have turned adversity into triumph. But this isn't just about their stories, it's about you, our audience. It's about your actions to ignite your purpose and create meaningful change in your life. Today, I am joined by a remarkable guest. Together, we will cut through the noise, tap into your potential, and inspire action. The time for change is now, so let's get started. I want to welcome Dr. Joan Elizabeth Thaxter Randall to the show. Dr. Randall is the founder and CEO of Victorious You Press. She is a mother, a grandmother, a visionary, an elder, a leader of people, a philanthropist, an international speaker, and many times over an international best-selling author. Let's bring her on. Dr. Randall, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Hey, Dr. Stephenson, how are you?
I'm running out of gas. Introduction all those things that you do.
Yes, sir.
How do you keep pace?
Organization,
Mm,
being organized. There are certain things that I do on certain days, and I don't stray from that scheduling, because if I do, then I'm all over the place. So it's understanding what I'm supposed to do and when it's supposed to happen and creating. And I did this about 5 years ago.
mm.
Create a calendar where each day is specific to the things that God has blessed me to do, just from a capacity perspective.
Wow. And we're going to talk about some of those things today,
Hmm.
things that God bless you to do. But before we go there, I did this big, long introduction where I ran out of gas. And so now I want you to introduce yourself. Who is Dr. Joan Randall?
I am a vessel. I'm a seed. I am an individual that was purposed to impact lives and change outcomes.
Mm.
That's it.
Impact lives and change outcome. A vessel that
Yes.
is purposed to do just that.
Yes.
Now, I know one of you, I introduced you as a mother,
Hmm.
grandmother. I want you to take me back. Take me back to bringing up two daughters, right? Especially in these challenging times that we're living in. What was it like, and where are they now? What are they doing?
So, just to go back to give you a historical narrative, my oldest daughter was born in Jamaica. When she turned 4, I met and married a man that was a US citizen and came to the States. So for 4 years, my oldest daughter spent those 4 years with my mother until I was able to take her to the States. When I got her, she was 8 years old. And at that time, I had a baby that was about a year old. But the life that I dreamt of having, leaving Jamaica, did not turn out the way I pictured it in my mind. And so I ended up in a bad situation, domestic violence, and lived with that for about 7 years. That was very difficult on me as a young mother, a young woman, a person from Jamaica that was navigating life in the United States. And it was very difficult. And domestic violence took a toll on our lives. But with their help, we were able to escape. But in leaving that situation, it's like jumping out of the frying pan and jumping in the fire. Right. So when we left, we ended up at my sister's home, but it was too cramped. And then after 6 months, we had to leave. And so I tried to find a place that I could stay on my own, but it didn't work out as well. So we ended up being homeless. Right. And I'll tell you the truth, in that moment of not having a place to live or to call our own, I literally picked up the phone to call my abusive husband to take me back. Because in my mind, I'm saying to myself, I would rather have a roof over the heads of my daughters than to not have a place to live or to sleep in my car. It was a low moment. It was a moment of shame and embarrassment. And I remember my oldest daughter saying to me, "Mommy, please, please don't go back. We can figure it out. Don't go back." And I never did. And I'm glad I listened to her.
Tell me about your daughters. What are they doing now?
Wow, it's such an incredible journey, of resilience, of perseverance, of forgiveness, of um, you know, understanding why we went through that, because it's the story. It is the story of our lives, and on the story we built who we are now. My oldest daughter, Kadeen, just turned 40. And to see her like blows my mind, because in another life, I would want to be exactly like her. You know what I mean? Because I look up to her. I admire her. She's a mother. She is married. She has 3 kids. She owns her own real estate company and also partners with another owner. So she's part owner of one, which is real estate homes, but then she's also a BIC and owns a company for commercial real estate. So she's doing these things, and then it kind of reminds me of myself, right? Because she did not want to have anything to do with entrepreneurship, but look at where she is now. You know what I mean? And so I just admire her. Her husband works for, one of the big banking system in a huge executive position. So they are doing so well, and one of the things that is a narrative for domestic violence thrivers, I'm going to use the word thrivers and not survivors, is that the children usually finds themselves in similar situations, but that does not have to be the case, right? There was healing, there was reconciliation, there was a lot of things that go into us getting them in the mindset that they are powerful beyond measures and that they can do anything they wanted. And even after leaving my abusive husband, I never had a relationship again until about 14 years later. So these two young ladies saw me, like literally helped me, not even saw me, helped me pull myself up and just worked and went from a part-time associate in a company to a regional vice president in the same company. So that was the model they saw, right? They didn't see men coming in and out of my life. They saw a woman who hit rock bottom, and because of their help, worked her way up a little at a time, from a part-time associate to a full-time, to a supervisor, to a manager, to a this, to a that, till I was a regional vice president, right? And I think that was the picture. There's two things, Dr. Laxley, when you're raising your kids. It could be nurture or nature. So the nurture part kicked in. And so for majority of their lives, especially the younger one, that is what she saw. And so in talking about her, she's very creative, my youngest one, very creative. She loves the arts. So she played music all her life. She sings, she draws, she paints, and she's an excellent photographer. But outside of that, she works for the banking system as well. So that's her full-time job. But everything artistic is what she loves. And so she kind of, same thing with me, right? Balancing all these different things. And when you look at what I do now and all the things that I do that God has given me the capacity to do, I see my daughters doing the same thing.
It's interesting. And we will get to highlight some of your daughter's work today.
Yes.
On this show. We will. And, another thing they saw in you, and one of your daughter owned one real estate company as a partner, and one they saw an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You've built an incredible legacy through Victorious Your Press, your company.
Yeah.
Can you share a pivotal moment in your life when everything seemed to shift towards that purpose?
Wow. So it was 5 years ago. It was 2019. And I had reached a place where I started doubting who I was and what my value was, right? Because we go through these highs and lows, Doc. And, I had worked at my corporate job for 25 years, but I knew that there was a story that I wanted to share with the world. I wanted people to see a woman who came from abuse and homelessness to someone who made it in corporate, right? At a position, an executive position. I had shares in the company. I was making, a lot of money a year, but I was no longer fulfilled. So I ended up getting into this entrepreneurial space, not understanding all it took to be a business owner, much less an entrepreneur, because, they're two different things, Dr. Laxley. And so when 5 years ago, I hit a spot where I felt completely empty, like I didn't know what I was doing, because the first 3 years of my business just hit a wall.
Mm.
and nothing was coming in. Like all the effort just vanished. And I started thinking, am I cut out for this? Am I really cut out to be a business owner? Maybe I was fooling myself this whole time. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I don't have the stamina. Maybe I don't have the knowledge. And I doubted myself because of what was not coming in from a revenue perspective. And I remember one day just walking. Now, mind you, that whole time I'm doing personal development, right? And helping people start businesses. But in the background, I was always writing. I was always writing. I had a million journals. I wrote every thoughts. I wrote my dreams. I was one of those people that got up and write her dreams, right? So I was always writing, and I had a way with words, especially on paper. Even if I didn't want to tell you that I'm upset with you, I could write it in a way that was so articulate that you felt like I'm giving you a compliment, but I'm really cussing you out, right? So I had this way with words, right? But never recognized the gift of that, never recognized the gift of that at all. And I could point it all the way back to 6 years old, right? But I'm sure we'll get to that conversation
Mhm.
later. And so at that point, I am walking around empty,
Wow.
an empty vessel, nothing inside. Don't know where to turn, don't know what to do. And then started thinking maybe I need to apply for a job. I'm
Mm.
in my late 50s. I'm like, this is like 5 years ago. So I'm 55. And I'm like, who is going to hire a 55-year-old that was making hundreds of thousands of dollars as a yearly salary, having all this experience, but getting old? Who is going to hire me? Right. And so I was just distraught.
Mm.
And in that moment of doubt and despair and uncertainty, I just felt like something just overcame me. And the thing just said, just let it go
There you go.
and surrender.
Mm. You
Listen.
know, let it go and surrender. And so let's talk a little bit more how you transform that pain to power.
Yeah.
Once you surrender, what happened?
So I surrendered, and I remember, because as a woman, Dr. Laxley, who has had to struggle to prove her worth. Remember, I'm a Jamaican, climbing the corporate ladder to this position. I had to prove my worth. I was also a Black woman in a position that was dominated by my lighter hue people, right? And so I felt like I was always in a fight. I was in a fight to prove myself. I was in a fight to make it happen. I was in a fight to win. And I was just always, what is next? What is next? What comes after 3 years? What come on? That's how my 25-year career went. The next 2 years, I'm looking at the next position. The next 2 years, I'm preparing myself for that role, right? And so I was always in this fighting mode. And even in my business, I fought the first 3 years to prove that I had what it takes.
Mm.
And then when it came to that defining moment, when the bottom fell out of the bucket and I surrendered, I just let go and I said, God, use me. I don't want to make the decisions on my own. I no longer want to say that this is what I'm going to do. Use me. Just use me. I am empty. There's nothing inside. There is nothing that I love can reach the depth of the emptiness. So I said, use it. This vessel is empty. Use it. And I swear to you, Dr. Laxley, I was walking, it was raining, and after an hour, my phone rang, and Pastor Lexi was on the phone.
Wow.
And she said to me, I have a client for you. This is after I haven't had a client for months. She said, I have a client for you. And I'm like, okay. She said, I gave her your number. She'll call you. I said, all right, cool. Finally, the woman called me. And when she called me, she said to me, Dr. Lexi referred me, I'm saying Dr. Lexi. Dr. Lexi referred me to you, and I'd like to talk about writing my book. So I was a little taken aback because I said, okay, I will, because I'd written so many books up to that point. I said, okay, I can help you write your book, right? I can help you lay it out. We have similar stories in the health, the health arena. So I figured that was why she had sent her to me. And so we set up an appointment, and I literally broke out my 4-step model of laying out her story. And she was incredibly, I highlighted every pillar, what needs to go under the pillar. I used like a construction board, and we bullet pointed all the things. I laid her entire story. So when we were done, and I said, hey, I have 3 friends that are publishers, I will definitely refer you to the one that I think would best suit your need. Because this woman was a pastor, right? So she said, okay, I'll call you on Friday to find out who it is. So I'd already vet my 3 publishers, and I'm like, okay, I think this person would be best for Pastor Trisha Payne. And so Friday, when she called me back, I said, hey, I have the perfect publisher for you. And she said, no, let me just tell you this. I had a dream, and the Lord convicted me that you are the publisher.
Wow.
And I said, nope, not me. No, I can help you write. I can't help you with a publishing. And she said to me, send me a contract and your price. And she hung up the phone.
Just like that.
Just like that.
You had her perfect publisher, but she had hers.
She said, God convicted me that you are it.
I think this is a wonderful time to transition and talk about faith and resilience. Yes. And how those 2 things played such a major role in your transformation. And I want you to now share with us, how has faith played that role in your growth, both in your personal and business life?
So in the personal life, that moment was when my faith became rock solid. I think it was in the cry out of the surrender that I never knew I needed to do, right? That my faith showed up, because I always felt like I had faith, because faith had taken me through domestic violence, homelessness, all of the stuff, right? So I always had faith, but I had conditional faith, right? I had the faith that when things were going well, I'm like, thank you, Lord. I didn't have the faith that when things are going bad, I said, thank you, Lord. It was conditional. So in the bad times of my life, when things are going wrong, I beat myself up. And I never still gave God credit for health and strength and all of the stuff, right? But in that moment of surrender, I let it go and said, I no longer want to make these decisions. I'm going to lean on you. So my faith kicked in. And God is so good to us that it was in that moment of surrender that he sent Pastor Lexi with a phone call. Immediately. It wasn't next week. It wasn't next month. It was immediate. Immediately. When I said, and I was crying, and I remember saying, I am empty, use me. I am empty, fill me up. I am empty. Take it, just take it, Lord. Use me, use me, use me. And it was immediate. And that was when my faith got rock solid, because I know that the Holy Spirit saw me, knew that I needed him, knew that I was honest, knew that I was willing to surrender. And in that moment, he sent the sign of what I was purposed to do all my life. So my personal life changed as a result of that moment. My business life also changed as a result of that moment, because when that author said to me, you are the publisher, send me the contract and your price, I didn't know what to do, because she hung up. So I'm reaching out to other people. I'm like, do you have a contract I could borrow? Because now I don't know what the contract needs to look like. So I'm trying to borrow a contract to see if I can modify it. And I knew what my publisher friends were charging, so I just cut it in half. Not in the middle because I don't know what I'm doing. Right? But when I said yes to her and I sent her the contract and she paid me the money, 2 weeks later, she referred somebody to me.
Wow.
2 weeks later, somebody else was referred to me. 2 weeks later, another person was referred to me. So between October and December, Dr. Laxley, I had 10 contracts signed.
You know, you mentioned then Pastor Lexi, still Pastor Lexi, but
Yeah.
now Dr. Lexi.
Pastor Laxley.
And what a role she played in your life. What a messenger, right?
Yes.
Yes, and she continued to be that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, continue to do that as well. Now, I want you to become that advisor.
Yeah.
Talk to people out there, right? You've been through stuff. You've had to deal with between fear and faith and struggling and going back and forth with that. What's your advice to someone who's struggling with that?
You know what? The very first thing someone who is struggling have to figure out is who are they? First thing, who are you? Right? And not what you do, but who are you? You know, what are your values? What are the reason why you are here? Right? You love the word purpose, and we talk a lot about purpose, and purpose is for that which you're created. What are you created to do? Why are you here? And I want them to also recognize that the pain that they might have experienced in the past is also tied to the very position they need to take where their purpose, you know what I mean, where their purpose is going to take them, right? There is this thing about pain that positions you to walk in purpose. So don't overlook the pain. Don't overlook the adversity. Don't overlook the setback. Don't overlook the hate. Don't overlook the shame. All of those things are character building things. You know, they build character, because when you go through shame, you're embarrassed about a thing. The only time people can use that shame to keep shaming you is if you don't stand up and say, I acknowledge that I was shameful and it no longer defines me. When you acknowledge your own shame, nobody can use it against you, right? So go ahead. Go ahead.
And you know, as you're saying that, I'm thinking you acknowledge and you also convert the lessons from the shame.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what positions you to walk into purpose, because every time there's a setback, there is a level of accountability that you have to take. What was my role in this? Did I contribute to this piece of thing, right? And a lot of times we don't want to look at ourselves and acknowledge the role we play in the shame, or the role we play in how we ended up there, or the role we play in any of it, right? Even if it is just something as simple as acquiescing to things that you know are wrong, right? That's a role that you play probably in that situation, right? So knowing who you are and being able to say, this is who I am. These are my values. This is my, this is the zone. I heard somebody said to me, what is your door stopper? What are things that you will not accept? Right? And what are the things that you will stand on? What are the values? Who are you? What are your values? And what are the things that cannot come into the threshold of your home, or into the threshold of your heart or your space? Right? So that's the first thing. And then once you understand that and know who you are, then you have to try and understand, what have I gone through that I have now recognized that is something for me to work on or work through as I am purposed to do that thing for others, right? Because your purpose is not for you. right? Your purpose is for those who you are called to serve, right? It reminds me of an apple tree. The purpose of the apple tree is to bear apples,
Mhm.
but the apple tree don't eat the apples. The people who eat the apples are those that the tree serves.
Exactly. Let's go back to who am I? Who are you?
Yeah.
Talk to me about this mirror thing, looking into that mirror. And, you know, can you tolerate the person you're seeing in the mirror? Are you okay with that person?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Woo! That is such a great question. It's a very hard thing to do if you're honest, right, with yourself. I remember hearing the word DNA, and it's like this spirit-led search for what DNA is. Just I'm not, outside of just, the physical DNA. I was thinking about the spiritual DNA. And I love Genesis, especially Genesis 1. And I remember reading Genesis 1:28, and it talks about dominion and authority, but I couldn't figure out the N. So I went on a quest to search for the N. And then I found it in 1 John 1 and verse 3, where he talks about God giving us his name, right? So then I put it together and I said, DNA is dominion, the name of God, and authority, because God named us his child before our mother named us whatever, right? And so when I saw that, then it's almost like I was led to the mirror. And I stood in front of this mirror, Dr. Laxley, and I remember looking at myself and finding fault with what I saw. I found fault with my eyebrows. One is higher than the other. I found fault with my weight, right? I found fault with all these things. And I heard like a voice said, close your eyes and see you as how I see you. And when I closed my eyes, I realized I was no longer looking at the physical Joan. I was tapping into who God had created me to be. And that was my image in the mirror moment. I realized that I was equipped, that I was called, that I was qualified, that I was selected, that I was significant, that I was supplied. But because I kept looking at the outer me, I was always judging what I saw, right? Because it wasn't perfect. But once I closed my eyes, which is the weirdest things, how do you close your eyes and look at yourself? But that is what I did. And I was able to connect with the deeper spiritual being of who I was versus the physical. And that's when it was the same time with the book and the pastor and the book. And it was that same moment, Dr. Laxley. And that was when my whole life changed in 2019.
Wow. Let's take a quick break and come back. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Second Wind. I want to talk about some of your work.
Yeah.
As a publisher. So let's take a quick break and then we'll come back. You're watching Life-Changing Conversations to Inspire Action. My guest is Dr. Joan Elizabeth Thaxter Randall. So we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back.
A trail is written of hearts that strive. Through fire and flame, they find their way, becoming iron where courage holds sway. Becoming iron, with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Together they rise, conquering fears. Becoming iron through trials and fears. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction rising fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong. The inspired man knows where he belongs. Becoming iron knows where he belongs. Becoming iron, shining in the night. Becoming iron, with hearts forged in fire. Tales of courage and conviction, rising even higher. Displaying strength in the fiercest fight. Men becoming iron, shining in the night. The brave man faces the darkest night. The empowered man fights with all his might. The resilient man stands unwavering and strong, shining in the night. And the tales unfold and the battles new. Convictions light sees them through. From abysses deep to the morning light. They becoming iron in the endless fight. Becoming iron with hearts forged in fire. Tales of
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. You're watching Life-Changing Conversations to Inspire Action. My guest is Dr. Joan Elizabeth Thaxter Randall. Welcome back, Joan.
Thank you so much, Dr. Laxley.
Oh, so Joan, you've done so much. You're a publisher, and I want to talk a little bit about your work as a publisher and how you've empowered so many people to tell their stories.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who feels as if they don't have a story worth sharing?
So a lot of times people feel that they don't, but they do. Everybody has, because it may not be a story about an experience that you have, but it may be a words of wisdom for someone else. It may be a way to guide people to doing something that you're an expert at. It may be how you have been able to navigate a problem and solve that problem and now have a solution, right? It may be you're a great cook and then that you love that. And so you found some recipes that is unique. That could be a book. So a book does not have to be a life story. A book creates an indelible moment in time that can never be erased. A book is the foundation for what is next for you. A book opens doors for opportunities for you. A book creates this narrative about who you are that you don't even have to say it. Right? You send somebody to Amazon to buy it, or you send somebody to your website to buy it. So it's a legacy building tool that you can leave for the generation and the next generation and the next generation. Everybody has a book inside of them. Everyone.
I even have one, thanks to you. I discovered that. Let's talk a little bit now. So I'm going to play a video. And
Yes.
This is called a self-publishing cohort. And once we play it, I want you to talk a little bit about that. But let me play it first, okay?
Okay.
Turning your area of expertise into a published 31-day mastery guide that you can share on a global level. Are you a career professional, ministry leader, or aspiring author who has mastery in a specific subject? Do you want to motivate, inspire, and educate others? With the help of an award-winning publisher, you can. Someone needs the knowledge you've mastered, and who better to guide them than you? Create a lasting legacy by sharing your unique gift with the world. Join our very first self-publishing cohort, where we'll help you craft and publish a mastery guide with a journal vibe. No blank pages here, only powerful quality content that will change lives. Join our intensive self-publishing cohort and take the first step toward turning your expertise into a tangible asset that boosts your authority, impact, and income.
Wow. All right. Talk to me about that.
So it came about as having a friend recommend a journal to me not too long ago, a 365-day journal about some kind of a therapy. And I'm like, you know what? I love journal that drives you to take action. And so I purchased the book. And when I purchased the book, it was 365 pages of blankness. At the top of each page was one line. one line, and all the rest of the page was blank. And it was true, and it was $32. And I was super disappointed. And then I started thinking, if people are buying books for motivation, for inspiration, for knowledge, for the yearning to understand how to do something, why would an author not spend the time to put the content in the book that can satisfy that need? And so then I started thinking about people that are artisans, right? A plumber, a barber person, a stylist, a homeschool teacher, a farmer. These people have incredible skills that they will never think could be in a book, that can teach someone how to do the same thing that they do. Right. And so I just decided that if we could pull this self-publishing cohort together, not only are we going to help people lay out what a guide needs to look like, but also teach them the standard of self-publishing. Because where I see a lot of people make mistakes, they don't want to pay for publishing because it could be pricey. And so they opt to self-publish. And when they do that, they don't have all of the knowledge of what self-publishing truly means, right? And so they get bamboozled by some of the publishing platforms where they're taking free ISBNs and not realizing that they don't own the book if they take a free ISBN number and use a free ISBN number, right? So we wanted to educate them in the self-publishing process so that if they want to publish other books, they can, but give them the blueprint of how to lay out a journal with content, or how to put what they know, their expertise, their mastery, into a book. 31 days is all you need, right? Because they can rinse and repeat each day, month after month after month. But we wanted to give them the structure of how to lay out a guide. And that guide will they will monetize that guide over and over and over again, and use that to do workshops, use that to do speaking engagements, use that to do master classes and webinars and things like that. So and again, I told you at the beginning of this that my purpose is to impact lives so I could change outcomes. So that's one thing that a book does. It changes your life and the outcome.
And how is the cohort? How has it been received?
You know what? Not as well as I would have wanted it to be, right? We had a little snag in the ad that we ran. And so, not to share how that happened, but there was a snag in it. And so it is not as, I don't want to say disappointed, because you can always take what we didn't do so well and do it over in a different way. But it is not where we need it to be at this point.
At this point?
Yeah, at this point.
Just beginning anyway, right?
Just beginning, yeah.
So let's plug it now. Let's tell everyone out there why they need to get this.
They need to get it because it is the value, right? What you're investing, right? What you're investing into this cohort exceeds anything that you could ever at the cost, right? At the investment that we're doing at, because you're getting a 2-for-1. You're getting, right, a lesson in how to lay out your book from an international, right? International award-winning publisher, right? Not just author, publisher.
Many times over.
Many times over, right? And you are learning the strategies of publishing, right? How to market it, what is the categories, how to do SEO, how to do, the keyword phrases. What does formatting means for your book? Why is the book is judged by its cover? You're getting a whole publishing lesson that you can use for the rest of your life if you want to publish the rest of your book. Plus, I am giving you my secret recipe of how to lay out a guide. So Like,
secret sauce, the secret sauce. Let us welcome Elizabeth Sitawa, Jacqueline Bonner, Lisa Richmond, Dr. Donna Thompson. We have Dr. Lexi Worldwide, Pastor Johnson.
she got a lot of name.
We have, let's see who else we have on. So, yes, let's welcome. Appreciate you joining us today. And I want to play a video, another video. This time it's something called Second Wind, and I want to know more about that. But before we go there, let me play the video again.
Okay.
In the journey of life, every woman reaches a pivotal moment, a crossroads where echoes of past achievements blend with whispers of untold potential. Amidst an ebbing tide of familiarity, a second wind rises, a resurgence of spirit, an invitation to embrace new passions. Is this your story? Have you felt the gust of change propelling you toward a new horizon? Join Joan Randall and Leslie Cottrell in celebrating the resilience and tenacity of women who refuse to let their stories end prematurely. Let's rewrite our narratives, embrace our second acts, and inspire others to do the same. Your story, your voice, your journey matter. Let them inspire. Let them ignite the flame of possibility in others. Together, we will unleash the transformative power of the second wind. We can help shape a world that honors the resilience and ageless wisdom of women.
Wow. The resilience and ageless wisdom of women.
Yes.
Before you talk about it, can men participate?
Sure. Not in this volume. Not in this volume, but yes. 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 Yes.
Talk to me about the second wind.
So the second wind for me is finding the strength, the fortitude, the power, the courage to rewrite your life.
Mm. You know, to rewrite your life.
Yes.
Wow. Now you're the author now.
Yes.
Your life.
You're right.
Mm.
Yeah, because you know what? We have the power to do that. Mm-hmm. Like, my domestic violence and homelessness past does not define me, right? Mm-hmm. The pain of feel like I failed the first 3 years in my business did not define me. Mm. None of those things. Divorce did not define me. I have the power, me and me alone. Joan Elizabeth Thaxter has the power to rewrite my story. Mm-hmm. And that is what the second wind is. It doesn't matter what you have been through. It doesn't matter, the circumstances. It doesn't matter how you feel like life stopped. No, if breath is in your body, you own the power to rewrite your story, to change the narrative, to create a new you, to change your hair, to cut it off, to color it, to whatever. You have the power in you to change. And that's what the second wind is. How do I rewrite the story and create a new narrative? Someone that shows me as the powerful vessel that God sent on earth to have dominion, to have his name, and to have authority. That's the second wind.
A mentor once said to me, if your life is important, then act like it is. And what a beautiful thing that you can now redo it, do it again, once again, and be very intentional about it.
Yes.
Write it the way as it ought to be.
Yep.
And how do you do it? You do it every single day based on how you're living your life.
Yeah.
And if it's important, then act like it is. Do the things that are most important to you. It's all again about your purpose, right?
Yeah.
Do what align. Make sure your behavior is aligned with what you say you're here for.
Yep.
And that's what the second wind is all about.
And that's what the second wind is all about.
To get it right. So we have Miss Angela Mitchell. We have Gladys Makoha from Kenya. We have Moni Kemboy. We have, who else? We have there's some names I can't pronounce. I'll just say Matari Melvin. Thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate that. And we're having life-changing conversations to inspire action. And my guest is Dr. Joan Elizabeth Thaxter Randall. And we're going to be talking about the doctor piece shortly. But before we go there, I do want to, we're talking about empowering others taking actions, right? So, Joan, Dr. Randall, I would like you to challenge our audience and ask them to make one small change today, whatever that change you think should be. Tell them something that they can do to inspire big actions.
The very first thing is to take an action. That's it. You will have the ideas, right? You will have the thoughts. And I know we get them. We get them sometimes. We wake up early in the morning. We have a download. We have an idea, right? And even before you take the action, write it. That is so important, right? Write it down, because if you don't write it, you will never remember. 2 weeks from now, you won't remember that great idea that you have. You know how many times I hear people say to me, oh, I had a book title and I never wrote it down and I forget it and I can't remember what it was. That's because you have to get in the habit of writing. Again, writing allows you to go back. It allows you to go back. It brings to remembrance what you were given, the idea you were given, right? So that's the first thing I would say. Write it. Write it on a piece of paper. Write it in your phone. If you don't want to write it, speak it. Turn your phone on, the mic on, and record it, right? And then the second thing is try to think about one action that you can put to it. So let me give you an example. If you think that you have a book, right, and you're not sure what the book is going to be or how to write it, start speaking the book in your phone. Right? Maybe it's an experience. Start speaking the experience, because as you speak it in the phone, it types it for you, right? We all have smart devices now, right? So you speak it in the phone and you start typing it, right? At some point, 2-3 weeks later, you may go back and say, let me read what I spoke. Right? And as you're reading it, it's going to ignite something in you. You're going to feel good that, ooh, I started the book. I started this piece. I started this essay. I started this application to go back to school. I started something, right? And then let that energize you to take one action. The one action may mean call somebody on the phone and say, hey, I have this thought. What do you think? The other action may be, let me book this free consultation. The other action may be, let me Google to see what it costs to go back to school or whatever it is. The other action may be, let me go to this free networking event. The other action may be, let me go to church and see if I can connect with somebody there, right? So the goal is to write the thing that you desire, and then take one small action. You cannot get to where you want to go if you don't take the action. Dr. Laxley recommended a book to me that I have been obsessed with, and it's called E-Myth Mastery by Michael E. Gerber. And the 3 pillars in that book is passion, purpose, and practice. Passion is the thing that you feel. Like, you can tell, right, from how I speak that I'm passionate. You don't even have to ask. Right? You can tell, right? Purpose is the thing that you were created to do. But no matter how passionate you are and how much you know what your purpose to do, if you don't put that into practice, nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens, right? You look at the professional sports, all those guys, what's the number one thing? It's all about the practice. No matter how much talent you have, it's useless unless you put it into practice. You know, let's move to your purpose-driven leadership and legacy. And we're just going to touch on that a little bit because, again, you are the CEO of Victorious You Press. And I want to know, how do you stay aligned with your purpose? And let's talk a little bit about how you inspire your team to do the same. Because it is one thing for you to be aligned with your purpose, but you have a team. And if they're not doing the same, then it's all going to fall in what?
Yeah. And one of the things that I'm proud of is that my team has been with me from the start. Like some of my team members, I mean, I just hired an executive assistant, but the majority of my team has been with me since 2019 and 2020. that says something, right? That really says something. In terms of inspiring my team, you know, we are a faith based, and probably that's not the right term. We're a faith-based company, which means prayer is very important to us. And so in every meeting we pray, but I always ask before I start my agenda, how's your day been? How was your weekend? How was your week? I want my team to know that it is not so much about Victorious You Press, but it's about them, right? It's how they feel. It is the power, the authority that I give them to do the work that they do, and that their voice matters. So it's very important when it comes on to that part of it. From a purpose-driven perspective, they see I role model my purpose all the time, every day. And when you are a leader, you can't ask your team to do something that you are not willing to do. You can't give to your team directions and you are not, you know, doing the same thing. So I lead by example, but I give them the power to make their own decisions. Every meeting that we have, I ask for their contribution. And there's a lot of times, Dr. Laxley, when you see me put something out about what we're doing at Victorious You Press, it was the ideas from the Rachels of the swirl and from the Lynn Braxton and from Leslie. It was their ideas. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know, so my team feels empowered to make decisions and share those decisions with me. And then corporately, we said, yes, this is a go or not. So that's one thing. In terms of purpose, I know what it is. I know that I'm called to help people share their stories. And so that is what drives me. That is what keeps me. Even when I don't want to do it, I go back to the why. I go back to why I'm here. I go back to why it is important for me to continue. And there are dry spells in this publishing business. And so I start to think, all right, if it's a dry spell where most people are self-publishing, let me find a way to go over to that side and teach them how to self-publish. So as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you always have to be flexible to the needs of your business and then pivot where possible to get yourself into the position where you're always solving the client's problem.
Mhm. Is legacy important to you?
Very much so. Very, very much so. And Saturday was a great example of legacy, because a lot of times when you hear the word legacy, you think about what you're leaving, right? You're leaving something. So legacy is kind of like what I'm leaving. So it's when I'm gone that you have it, right? But I believe that we can be living in legacy. And on this past Saturday, when I was at the convocation or the graduation, I heard my grandson scream my name, JJ, JJ, and he was screaming. He's so excited. And then he asked his mother if he could come down to the front. So he ended up sitting on my lap. But the reason why I wanted him to sit there is I wanted him to see that it was possible that you can have an honorary doctorate degree, or you can get a PhD, or you can become the football MVP, which he knows that he says that every day. That's what he's going to be, a footballer, right? He's going to play football and he's going to be the best, I think he says, running back ever. And so Israel being there, seeing his 60-year-old grandmother, right, getting an honorary doctorate, seeing a Dr. Laxley, a Dr. Cecilian, or Dr. John on the stage, seeing all these people dressed this way, I just showed Izzy legacy. And it's not just
living legacy.
Living legacy. That's what Israel saw.
So legacy is indeed important. You know, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to journey into what is next for Dr. Joan.
Okay.
All right. So let's take a quick break. We'll come back. You're watching Life-Changing Conversations to Inspire Action. My guest is Dr. Joan Elizabeth Thaxter Randall. That requires some effort now. Pronunciation.
Oh boy, it's a lot of names.
But it's a good effort.
Yes.
Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Locked in my decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
There's a lot going on there, huh?
It's so crazy how I know that song.
A lot going on there.
I know the words of the song.
Lots to unpack there. But I think this is a great time on life-changing conversations to inspire actions, to journey towards honorary recognition. So I want to say congratulations to you, Dr. Joan. I'm going to say Randall, on receiving the degree of Humane Letters honoris causa. I want you to tell us what this honor means to you, personally and spiritually.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can articulate all of it, but I'm going to try my best. Personally, I feel seen. I said that on the show on Monday night. And then somebody might say, what do you mean? Like, you're seen, you're all over Facebook, but it's bigger than just seen from the physical eyes. I feel like all of the things that I do or did or do, still do, that it was recognized. And I want to thank you, right? It was recognized. Somebody saw the value in it and not just me. Sometimes when you're in it, and you and I have had this conversation, sometimes when you're in it, you can't see outside of it. And so, you know, for you to recognize me and put my name forward was truly, truly compelling and amazing to me. From a spiritual perspective, my God, I felt like the Lord said, daughter, all those years and all those tears and all the times where you thought that you were not enough because you didn't have a degree, I just took you from the bottom and pushed you up to the top.
Very top. And just like that. The very top. Yes. Woo! Tell me, what was your first thought when you found out this is a done deal? How did it, and how did this thing align with your journey?
Well, let me just say this for full transparency. Full transparency. And I have to remember, how does this align with my journey? So at 18, I got a full scholarship to a teacher's college. And the subjects I was going to teach in high school, because that was my goal, to teach at the high school level, was English and Bible knowledge. Let me talk about purpose, right? Purpose came full circle. English and Bible knowledge was what I was going to teach at high school. I was going to spend 3 years in college and I was going to get a degree, an English and Bible knowledge degree. And look at what I'm doing right now. I'm writing books and preaching the gospel, right? I'll show you about purpose. And so at that age, I was told by one of my parents that, hey, you're 18. I'm done taking care of you. You have a younger brother and sister. You need to go work and help me take care of them. I forfeited my scholarship.
Mhm.
And it took me years to get over that, right? I just thought I could say to the college, hey, I'm just going to suspend my thing for you. Nope. If you don't accept it, it's gone. I worked for 7 years. I came to the States and, I tried to get back into college. I got in. My husband said, nope, you're not going to go to no college here. My first husband. So that shifted it. Then when my kids were growing up and I, get this great job, I applied again for community college. I got in and I was about 5 credits away from my associate's degree and then had to stop because now my older daughter had to go to college.
Mhm.
Right. And then when it came time, so that's time number 3, right? And then I got to a point where I had the money to pay for the college. And then I'm like, is it worth it at this point? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. So I just started working on certain certifications, right? I have a publishing certification. I have a homiletics certification, Bible. I got a certificate of leadership for being a pastor. So I started getting all of these certifications and just still thought about wanting to go to college, but just figured at this age, it doesn't even matter. When that congratulatory letter came, I didn't even know how to accept it. I questioned it. And there was a point there where I'm wondering, are you really qualified? And I said it to you, and you said something to me about you need to look in the mirror, right? And I went back to the mirror that I'd gone back to 5 years ago. And then I thought about all the things I had done. I had helped almost 400 people write books. I had helped all these people got on the bestseller list. I started a publishing company and we have over 150 titles under the Victorious You Press name. I helped over 45 people started businesses from their books. I am helping people in a nonprofit build businesses early stage. I went to Kenya and with Pastor Lexi and I, 1,100 souls were saved. And I started thinking about, I feel like God started bringing back to my remembrance all the things that I'm doing to say to me, it doesn't take a degree from a man. I qualified you. You already have this degree. And when I stood on that stage and I was hooded by you and Dr. Cecilia, God said, I pull you out of the fire of domestic abuse, out of the fire of homelessness. And I took you and I put you at the top of the stage.
Because let's go to the stage.
Okay.
Let's go to the stage. Let's go to the stage.
Elizabeth Thaxter Randall, Doctors of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
It's like Stephenson.
Earl Sotomo, Doctors of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a moment.
Oh man, that moment. I cried throughout the graduation. I really did. There's so many things. The national anthem touched me. the songs that, touched me. I sat there and just had to keep pinching myself. My daughter was there doing photography, and to be surrounded by my family, Dr. Donna Thompson, my very best friend, my 50-year friendship, flew in from Florida to be there with me. My aunt Donna's mother was there. My mother wasn't there, my father wasn't there because they're no longer alive, but I felt their presence. My sister, who's like my twin, was there with me, my grandson. So I just felt surrounded by love. I felt surrounded by genuine friendship. Dr. Laxley, you created this group of, you brought together this group of incredible individuals, and through your selfless actions, here we are, honorary doctorate, and having, leadership principles, global fellowship certificate. It's incredible. And I didn't get here by myself, right? It was a group of, it's the people that are in your circle, right? So you have to look, and you said this on your takeaway, your moments of takeaway, who is in your circle? If your circle can't empower you, if your circle can't build you up, if your circle can't push you, then you need to change your circle. So it was a moment I won't forget ever, ever. And this whole award is for my mother, because she knew that I had it in me, and she was devastated when I forfeited my scholarship. So God just brought it full circle, and the legacy she left, right? She never got a chance to leave a legacy. She left it through her kids. And so to be able to fulfill her legacy was what I felt like Saturday meant to me. And for my grandson, which is her children, to be there, it was just a full circle moment for me.
I want to play another video. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right, let's play another video.
Like them high decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. I'm locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, I'm all yours. Locked in, going all out, no fear, no doubt. My God, my choice, your will, your will, your will. Like them high decision to have a collision with my purpose. It is my assignment to be in alignment with my purpose. Have a collision with purpose, 'cause you know that you're worth it, and your dream is worth capturing. If I'm not living on purpose, then none of it is worth it. My assignment is uplifting souls for the King, souls for the King, souls for the King.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I'll leave both of you up there for a second longer.
Yes. Oh, don't make me cry.
All right. Talk about the living legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's emotional.
10 years, 20 years from now, and he's standing there with you.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, yes, yes. We're talking about life-changing conversations
Yeah.
to inspire action. And are we inspiring actions? I'm having this conversation with Dr. Joan Elizabeth Thaxter Randall. And, let's talk a little bit about we've journeyed towards honor recognition.
Mhm.
Let's talk about inspiring lessons from this milestone.
Yeah.
We're receiving this honor. I want you to reflect on the years of commitment. And you talk about that earlier, how you did all that stuff, the service, the leadership. What are some of the most important lessons that you've learned along that journey that brought you to last Saturday?
Never give up. Never give in. Never throw in the towel. Just keep pushing. And when you ask the question about what would you tell someone, and when I said is knowing who you are, when you really recognize and know who you are, and you know that God placed something in you and that He would not leave you on the side of the road, right? No matter what happens, is you got to keep finding the strength to push through. Surround yourself with human capital, the people that will help to inspire you, the person you can call, the community that you can go to and ask for help, but never give up and just keep fighting. And you talk about practice, just keep taking action, even when you don't know what the result is going to be. Because I believe, Dr. Laxley, that God doesn't give us a buffet. Right? He doesn't give us a buffet. We don't know all the things. We don't know all the choices, right? He just feeds us one moment at a time. And it reminds me of Elijah. And when Elijah was in prison, God sent a raven to feed him, but He never sent the raven to feed him for the whole day. He sent the raven in the morning for breakfast, and He sent the raven in the evening for dinner. So all Elijah was getting was what he needed in the moment. And sometimes, too often, we try to see what's ahead, right? And because we're looking ahead, we're getting anxiety and we're getting depression because things isn't happening how we think they should happen. But the goal is to spend time in the moment, live in the moment, work in the moment, take action in the moment, and a series of action will ultimately become, the result and the success that you're looking for.
Absolutely. Earlier you said that purpose is not about to serve you,
Right.
pursuing and fulfilling your purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a major milestone in terms of a human type of recognition
Yeah.
on earth. There's
Yeah.
none. There's none bigger.
None.
I don't believe there is one. How will you use this to inspire others?
Oh my God. So you asked me that question on Saturday night, what's next?
Mhm.
And I am filled with, I have a whole list of stuff already. I am filled with ideas of what is next. And my next is to empower and inspire others to dream big in a way that they don't limit themselves to, I can't do this because I never got educated in a college, right? I want people to understand that, yes, college degree is great. Yes, getting all of that, going to school and doing all of that is great. But what is greater is the power that is within,
Mhm.
that is greater than anything else. And that trumps what mankind says to you, right? Because the power that is within is a spiritual power. And if you can tap into that and just keep moving and keep, dreaming and putting things in place and writing and taking action, that's what's going to happen. So my goal going forward is to find those people that are willing to go on a journey of what is next without getting hung up of what was,
Mhm.
so that they too can get their honor or doctorate.
Wow.
the goal, right? I already have some people in mind because I see the journey, I see what they're doing, and I want to pay it forward in that way.
Paid forward. Let's talk a little bit about this is a new chapter for you, right? And
Yeah.
future vision, right?
Yeah.
Receiving this degree signals the start of a new chapter in your life, and indeed it is.
Yeah.
What new projects, dreams, or initiatives are you and I want to know that you're really excited about to explore.
So, one of the things I want to do is to create a mastermind. I want to create a mastermind because so often we work in silos. I'm a publisher. This person over here is a financial analyst. This person over there is a branding. This person over there is marketing. And because of these little silos, we can't get to the level of success that we want to get to. If we come together as an enterprise, if we come together as a collaborative, right, we open the doors to bigger opportunities. While all of this is going on Saturday and me getting my honorary doctorate, I was being awarded all these certification as minority business supplier, as historically underutilized business. And I got the letter from the city and the state that says you are at the top of the list now, where you can do contracts with the city, with the state, and with corporate in the state of North Carolina. That is big. What that did for me was to show me that playing small is done. The honorary doctorate has allowed me to start play big. I'm not playing in a pond anymore, right? We've elevated from the pond into the ocean. So now we're looking bigger, not entrepreneurship, but enterprise. And who do I bring in as a part of the enterprise so I can help them get to this honorary doctorate?
Seems like we're getting back to that circle, huh?
That circle.
This is what I would like you to do for me. I want you to look into the camera as close as you can get without going through.
Okay.
And I want you to speak to one person.
Yeah.
A word of gratitude. You can, if you want to call their name, but single out that one person, say something.
Yeah.
Say thank you.
Yeah.
For life.
Donna Thompson. I hope she's still on. DL Thompson, my cousin. I want to say thank you. Oh my God, for so many things. Oh, for always supporting me, for being the first person in any of my family to tell me that she sees me speaking in Africa to a crowd of women. Donna told me this probably in 2018. And I remember looking at my sister Shelly and said, I think Donna is crazy. Right? We were like, she crazy, because how's she gonna see me speaking in Africa? And I have no clue how that would happen. Right? And Donna would send me these messages all the time and said, cuz you don't understand. I see you way bigger. She said, skies are the limit. You know what I mean? She was also the one that said, I need to connect you to Locks. She always said, Locks, I need to connect you to Locks. I need to. And it never happened until it finally happened in 2022. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to say to my cousin, Donna Thompson, thank you. Thank you for the vision that God gave you about me. Thank you for being that intercessor in terms of what God had, the plans God had for me that I couldn't see. He had given them to Donna. Thank you for connecting me to Dr. Laxley. Thank you for being the support. You always serve. You always support. You are the silent powerhouse. You don't speak much. You're very observant, but when you speak, it has power. I love you with all my heart. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. Yeah, because I don't think I would have met you had it not been for her.
Wow. It's interesting that if you asked me the same questions, I probably would have said Donna.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's big. That's big. And I hope Donna is listening, and
Uh,
she will hear it. And it's important for her to hear it as it is for you to say it.
yeah, absolutely.
It's very important, and not just for you to say it, but I'm hoping that anyone who will watch this broadcast or replay would do some reflection.
Hmm.
Who is that person?
Yeah.
Person, and say it out to them.
Yeah.
Don't keep it. Don't hold on to it.
Right.
Hold on to it. You know, there's such a thing as humility, right? And this is a big deal to be this doctor person that you are now.
Hmm.
How do you stay grounded and humble? And you'll continue to receive more honors, no doubt about it, because that's your life. That's what you do based on the work you're doing.
Yeah.
And for all your accomplishments. But how do you keep this thing in and stay humble with it?
You have to realize that the journey is not about you. It's not about me, right? It's about serving. It's about servitude. And if you can keep that in mind, that I serve as Jesus served, my purpose is to serve. My purpose is to empower. My purpose is to impact. My purpose is to inspire. That's where you keep the humility. And another thing, Dr. Laxley, I never forget and will never forget that there was a point in my life where I was beaten, broken, and homeless. That keeps me grounded. I could never get too big. I could never get too big-headed, and I have to stay humbled because there was a point in my life where that was my reality. That keeps me grounded.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to draw down, and you look at the time. We can't stay here forever, can we?
But we could talk forever, but we can't stay here forever.
I think we have done that numerous times. Off camera, we've talked,
Right.
and it's starting to feel like one of those conversations
Yes.
off camera, and I think it's a good thing. But that's where the authenticity comes into play. But again, we're having life-changing conversations, and it's all about inspiring actions. I know we're doing just that. I'm having this conversation with Dr. Joan Elizabeth Thaxter Randall. That's a whole heap of name.
A whole lot of name. And you forgot the elder. That's what Pastor Lexi said.
Oh, I can't go there.
Pastor Lexi said,
No, I can't go there.
elder.
No, I can't go there. Another time. Another time.
I wouldn't go there either.
I have one
Oh my gosh.
question, and I'm very careful not to say last.
Yeah.
One final question for this conversation.
Yeah.
And what does this honorary degree symbolize for your legacy? And how do you plan to pass on what you have learned to future generations? Now, we saw future generation in that last clip.
Yeah.
What do you hope to pass on to future generations?
Just the reality that we have a responsibility to own who we are, even as our children are growing up. And I also believe that as parent and now a grandparent of 4 is to allow our children to dream and let them know that it is possible. That's it. That whatever you dream is possible. Whatever, because I look at my daughters and I see they came from the knowledge of domestic violence, but look at what they're doing. It's a distant past. And I think that also keeps them grounded too, of that experience. But I want the future generation, my children's children, and those who come after them to know that, my Gigi did it. My Gigi went through some bad things, but she turned it around. She wrote a book that they're getting ready to write a screenplay from. Right? There's a book out there that can be a movie one day, of my life, right? I've won all these awards and I want them to see that it is possible. And it doesn't take to be a millionaire for that to happen, right, Dr. Laxley? It doesn't take a whole bunch of money. It takes perseverance. It takes grit. It takes grind. It takes practice. It takes belief. It takes tears. It takes pain. But all of those builds the character. There's certain things that it builds. It builds character. Pain builds character. Adversity builds character. Setbacks build character. And you just keep pushing forward. You know, when you look at a gold, or when you look at diamond, they have to go through the fire to be refined. And I want my legacy to be that through the fire is where the refinement comes.
Through the burn.
Through the burn.
Through the burn. Through the burn.
Yeah.
Dr. Randall.
Yes,
we're
sir.
Down. We must call it a day.
Yep.
Night, depending on where you're watching from.
Right.
Any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts? I just want to say, just be. That's what I want to say to anybody that's listening today. Just be. And when I say be in the moment. Enjoy the moment. Take action in the moment. Breathe. You know, take that breath in and know that if you're still here, I want you to not think so much about what's to come, but find that thing that you can do now in the moment and make the best of that.
Be in the moment. Focus on your purpose,
Yeah.
passion, and your practice in whatever order.
Yep.
Just make sure you do all of them, right?
Yes.
So, Dr. Joan,
Yes,
man,
sir.
what a pleasure this has been. What a conversation.
Thank you.
I think we've met our objective.
Yes,
We've
sir.
had a life-changing conversation, and I know that would have inspired some action somewhere.
Absolutely.
So I thank you so much for coming on.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was amazing. I loved it. Thank you.
Really appreciate that. And I just want to say, for anyone out there watching, listening, or will watch the replay, just know that you're significant.
Yes.
Just know that no matter what is happening in your life today,
Yeah.
things can become better, and often will become better. Today is always your worst day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow can only be better. Now, you do have some responsibilities to make sure that it's better. And we talk about actions.
Yes.
Actions. You know, you Dr. Joan talk about action has been so important.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to have dreams. It's good to have all those things, but at some point you have to turn those dreams into action. No matter how much faith, how much whatever you have, there's got to be some level of action.
Yeah.
And be mindful of your circle.
Yes. Yeah.
That is so. How important is that, Dr. Jones?
Oh God, it's so important. I mean, I'm a publisher because of Lexi. That was my circle, right? I have an honorary doctorate because of Donna, because Donna connected me to you, right? So you see how important those circles are.
Do you know why you have an honorary doctorate? It's because of your work.
Yes, that too. Yes. But it took someone in the circle.
Absolutely.
To see it,
But
right?
I want to make sure that is out there. It is truly because of
Yes.
what
Yes.
what you've accomplished.
Thank
And
you.
not just that, what you will continue to do.
Yes.
You know, so again, I just want to thank you and just say congratulations one more time.
Thank
But
you.
before we go, I would like you to call out the names of your other grandchildren.
Yes. So my oldest grandson, his name is Michael. He is 12 years old. And then my second grandson is Gabriel. Gabriel is 10. And then my third grandchild is a girl, and she's the only girl of my 4 grandchildren. Her name is Ina Sophia, named after my mom. And then Israel is the little busy Izzy, and he is 6.
Right. Awesome. I appreciate that. And I know they will appreciate it as well.
Yes.
They will appreciate it as well. And I'm going to play something just for them to take us out. So if
Okay.
you hang on for me backstage.
Oh yeah,
And I
absolutely.
just want to say thank you for watching us, for joining us today on Life-Changing Conversations to Inspire Action. And I hope we did just that for you. We ask that you share the love. They say sharing is caring, and we know that to be so true. Thank you and blessings always.
I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid, I'm a boy kid. I wake up in the morning and I praise the Lord. I thank Him for His protection and I walk in His steps, declaring that today's provision is set up for me. I love God and I love my friends. I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid. I'm a boy kid. I put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth. Cause I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Loving others as He told me to pray for healing, miracles to see, knowing my identity in Christ, He is in me. I am a bold kid, He loves me, standing firm on His word, proclaiming everything I heard, not afraid because He is with me. Be bold. I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid, I'm a bold kid. Put on my armor and I read His word, blessing come out of my mouth. Because I know to whom I belong, I am bold for Christ. Holy Spirit dwelling within me, carrying His presence wherever He sends me.